Prem se bolo Shri Ganesh Bhagavan ki. What a very beautiful morning. Beautiful chanting, vibrational music. It sets the right ambience as we begin our Sunday morning service. I ask you to please put your hands together. Let us join in a moment of stillness. The silence that we seek is not on the outside. The silence that we seek is from within. Let's chant. It is not the notes that make the music. It is the silence between the notes that creates the beauty, the prettiness of the sound. The thoughts that we entertain sometimes bring smiles. But there are the other thoughts that sometimes will bring a tear to the eye. But it's neither the smile nor the tear that we seek. It is the silence between those thoughts that really lies, the language of the gods.
बंधु दिनेश दान दैत्य
रघुनंदन आनंद कंज कौशल चंद्र दशरथ नंदन। शिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चारु धारि अंग विभूषण आजान भुज शरीराप धरि संग्राम जीत करि दूषण। इति बढ़ती तुलसीदास शंकर शेष मुनि मति रंजन मम हृदय कंज निवास करि कामादि कलिदय कंजन। श्री राम श्री राम
श्री राम श्री राम
श्री राम श्री राम
श्री राम श्री राम
श्री राम
श्री राम
श्री योग योग योगीश्वराय बोलो भूत भूत भूतेश्वराय काल काल कालीश्वराय शिव शिव सर्वेश्वराय शंभो शंभो महादेवाय बोलो योग योग योगीश्वराय बोलो
भूत भूत भूतेश्वराय काल
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 कालीश्वराय शिव शिव सर्वेश्वराय शंभो शंभो महादेवाय। One more time बोलो योग योग योगीश्वराय भूत भूत भूतेश्वराय काल काल कालीश्वराय शिव शिव सर्वेश्वराय शंभो शंभो महादेवाय। शंभो शंभो बोलो One more time बोलो शंभो शंभो महादेवाय। साईं हमारा on the 23rd of November, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai, the world would have observed his birth anniversary. And while next week Sunday at ISHA will be our Baba Satsang, where we will be performing very beautiful Sai Satsang, it can't be the Sunday before his birthday and we don't offer a rendition in his name. Hindu, Muslim, Baba tells us, Sikh, Sai, सबका पालनहारा. whether we call ourselves Hindus, Muslims, Sikh, ISHA means Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, sabka palanhara. We are all seeking refuge, sabka palanhara. We're all seeking that refuge at the feet of God, however we refer to God, whatever name we call God. Sai Ram Hamara, Sai Ram Hamara, bolo Sai Ram Hamara,
Sai Ram Hamara,
He Sai Hamara, Hum Sai ke aisa prem hamara. साई हमारा हम साई के ऐसा प्रेम हमारा
साई हमारा हम साई ऐसा प्रेम हमारा
साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा
साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा
सत्य साई के नाम तुम्हारा शिरडी साई अवतारा
साई के नाम तुम्हारा शिरडी साई अवतारा
सत्य साई के नाम तुम्हारा शिरडी साई अवतारा साई हमारा हम साई के ऐसा प्रेम हमारा
साई हमारा हम साई ऐसा प्रेम हमारा
साई राम हमारा
साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा
प्रेम से बोलो श्री सत्य साई बाबा भगवान की
Devotees. Humility. Humility is that virtue in life that is the touchstone of true greatness. Lord Hanuman can be described as the epitome of humility. There are so many examples which can portray this. However, today I will share with you just one, which can be considered one of the best depictions of humility. In this story, he intentionally broke the Hanuman Ramayana, which was composed by Sri Hanuman himself. Now, I will share a short story based on this. After the victory of Lord Ram over Ravan, Lord Hanuman went to the Himalayas to continue his worship of Lord Ram. There, he scripted a version of the Ramayana on the Himalayan mountains using his very own nails, recording every detail of Lord Ram's deeds. When Maharishi Valmiki visited him to show him his version of the Ramayana, he saw how marvelous Lord Hanuman's version was and became very disappointed. Lord Hanuman noticed Valmiki's disheartened expression and asked what was the cause of his sorrow. The sage said that his vision, which he had worked on very laboriously, was no match for the splendor of Lord Hanuman's vision, and would therefore go ignored. At this point, Lord Hanuman discarded his own vision, which is called the Hanuman Ramayana. Maharishi Valmiki was so shocked and taken aback that he said he would take another birth to sing the glory of Lord Hanuman, which he had understated in his own vision.
The first test of a truly great person is in his humility. Being humble means recognizing that we aren't on earth to see how important we can become, but to see how much difference we can make in the lives of others. Devotees of God, let us look at Lord Hanuman. He discarded his own masterpiece, which would have taken so much time and effort, for the sake of Maharishi Valmiki. Hanumanji's sacrifice was so great that it would have taken more than a lifetime to sing his praises. Let us aspire to be like Hanuman. Let us do away with all our ego, be it in school or the workplace. Let me take you to the chapter of the Ramayana when Sri Ram was preparing to leave Ayodhya and Bharat was preparing to ascend the throne. In this episode, Bharat decided that for as long as Sri Ram was in the forest, he would live a life of penance. He left the palace, built a cottage in the forest, and while he still kept the title of a king, he began living a simple life. Devotees, understand from this that no matter our social status or how powerful we feel we are, everyone is the same. We came here by birth and will leave by death. We must climb this mountain of life, not so the world can see us, but so that we will be able to see the world. Humility is putting others before ourselves, and when we act selflessly, we become closer to Bhagwan. Bhule hum pehchan na apni, mitra bane sansar. Don't forget where you came from, but befriend the entire world. Sitaram.
Last night, I had the pleasure of watching 4 young men trying to fix a phone. And everyone is an expert. Varun, Kavir, Nigel, Keshav, and Navin. That's 4 or 5. It's 5 young men trying to fix a phone. And they all know which is the best way to fix a phone. One was saying, you need to go into this particular application, and if you go there, and the other one said, no, you have to reset the phone. And they started using language that I was sitting there wondering, what language is this? I didn't get to see the end of the conversation because I left them around 11:30. It was past my bedtime. I'm seeing some of the mothers saying, that late they stay up here, Baba? Well, when a child is looking to solve a problem, whether it's a phone, whether it's another aspect of technology, whether there's a math problem in school, you know that aha moment. Have you ever experienced an aha moment? You know what an aha moment is? Aha, I got it. We've all experienced aha moments in our life, whether as a child going to school or whether as an adult thinking about something that is disturbing you, something that you're looking to find a solution, and you have that aha moment. It is almost as though the lights went on, and ek chand se, in a twinkling of an eye, you found the answer. You see, when there is this search, when you learn something new, when something new dawns upon you, do you know what that experience is called? It's not a difficult word. It's a 3-letter word. It's called joy. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. We're singing that soon, don't worry about it. The word that describes how you feel is joy. But when you take that state of joy and you multiply it by the number x, to the power x rather, you experience something of that which is known as bliss. Joy is the immediate response to finding that aha moment. But when you multiply it to the power of n, that same joy becomes bliss. So this morning, while we chanted, Om Shri Mata Lalitamba, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Har Har Mahadev, Om Ham Hanumate Namah, we experience a taste of bliss. You see, bliss is when there's so much ecstasy within this body, so much joy that you can't contain it. As a matter of fact, it's almost as though the hands start clapping for itself, and you feel as though at the cellular level, they are shouting the name of God, figuratively speaking. The point I'm making is, bliss cannot be contained, but joy can. But joy is the first step towards experiencing that phenomenon that is called bliss. And the reason I'm sharing with that concept with you is because when we sit on a Sunday morning, or when you go to worship on an evening, or whatever you do, some of us go fishing and think that's a state of nirvana. Is it? Absolutely. If that is something that you love doing, anything that you love doing, that you become engrossed in, that is your source of, what is the word again? Joy. But because we find and we experience joy in our day-to-day lives, the challenge is in keeping that state of joy. One day I was giving this lecture and I said, we need to keep this state of joy in our life. And one boy said, well, Panditji, my girlfriend's name is Joy. I am making an investment in keeping joy in my life. I said, well, good luck with that. Well, we must ask ourselves this question. If joy is that which attracts us, because we're all seeking and searching for joy. Children, if when you learn something new, it gives you a state of joy, like the boys last night in trying to unlock an iPhone, why don't we experience that same joy in school? Somebody sarki in front. Panditji, school. Why does school sometimes feel like a pain in the neck? Let me ask another question. Why does sometimes the places that we worship sometimes feel the same way? Do you experience joy at school? Don't answer, you might get in trouble. Sometimes. The teacher is saying sometimes, I can imagine what the children are saying. Sometimes we experience the joy in school. But at a place of worship, do we experience the same joy? Don't answer. Because that's a personal response. That's a very personal response. But the question that I'm asking really is, what prevents us from keeping that state of joy with us when we go through our routine lives? Dr. G, I'm always so very humbled when Dr. Ramcharita is here with us. As a matter of fact, earlier this week I had a conversation with him. And we were talking about the outlook of ISHA. Why are we doing what we're doing? And scientifically, we're told that when a person experiences joy, something happens in their body and in their brain. We're not talking spirituality here, we're speaking medically. Medically, something happens to a human being, their body and their brain, not mind, their brain. Something happens when you experience joy. And there's a Harvard review where they conducted certain very clinical experiments where they tested someone, not just one person, but many different clusters of individuals who experienced joy for 24 hours, nothing else but joy. And over 24 hours, their ability to have intellectual sharpness, your ability for your brain to be witty, to be sharper, becomes enhanced by 100%. Imagine when you're joyful for 24 hours, your brain capacity in terms of your ability to process data intellectually, meaning not just to think, but to take the data that comes to you and process it meaningfully, that ability multiplies or becomes 100% better than you were 24 hours prior. Imagine what happens when you're Are pile 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 Shiva naam ka pyala, when you are always walking around intoxicated with that same sense and that state of joy. Well, Panditji, that sounds so good in a song, but that's not how life happens. Isn't that true? Because we experience joy, we experience a taste of that beauty and that happiness when we pray, when we worship, when we meditate. Whether you solve a problem outside, you experience it. but it does not stay with us. Are, how many of us enjoy what we do on a daily basis? I'm going to put my hands up too. You're going to look bad. You putting up your hand and I don't have my hand up. You see, I'm serious now. I do love what I do. As a matter of fact, I tell my boss, the day that I stop enjoying what I do, I am no good to you because I don't work for you. I work for me. And therefore, the joy that I get from my doing what I do, whatever it is, that's my investment. As a matter of fact, it is said another way. When you enjoy and when you love what you do, you never work a single day in your life. Can I say that again? When you love what you do so much, you never work a single day in your life. Children, you need to think about that in school. Because school can become a chore or school can become something that is joyful. Teaching, for those who are teachers, teaching can become a chore or teaching can become something purposeful. For those of us who have our careers, our profession, our jobs, that could become a means to an end to feed a family, a day's work, or that very same routine can become love made visible. Ali Khalil Gibran, the Lebanese prophet, he said, you know what is work? Work is love made visible. And therefore, that if we can't convert our routines into being a source of joy, then we are setting ourselves up to not experience happiness. As a matter of fact, even at work, there is something called vacation. What's coming up soon? Christmas, vacation, holidays. And we think sometimes that really Trinidad and Tobago, well, maybe that is true. We have a little too many holidays in this country. When the breeze blow hard, holiday. Trinidad almost win a football game, take a holiday for that too. But there is a beauty in time out. You see, taking time out, some people say you're taking R&R, rest and relaxation. But you don't have to have a scheduled vacation to take time out. Because what you're doing is changing your routines, especially when your routines are laborious, or it is mentally challenging, or it is tiring physically, whatever it is. It is important for a human being to take that time out, to unplug and to recharge your body and your brain. Because when your body and your brain becomes relaxed and different from the routines that we're engaged in, you have an opportunity to experience a taste of joy. So dear friends, my question to you this morning is, then why go to temple? If your life should be a source of joy, then why should you even have a guru? Well, Gurudev, I will be happy, but you don't know what I experience at work. Panditji, you don't know, no. I will be a very joyful person, but you can't remember how that person treated me when I was... Panditji, I will be very, very joyful, but my girlfriend, Well, you see, you will be joyful, but... And the role of the Guruji and the role of the Panditjis are to kick the butt out. You see, we always have a reason why we cannot be joyful. We cannot be happy. We cannot experience bliss. We cannot experience joy because there is always a but that we are introducing into our lives that takes us away from that natural state. The most beautiful, the most happy, the most innocent of creatures of God, it is a child. You tell a child, look at a toddler, 2, 3, where is Shivan, where's your son this morning? Liam, he doesn't care, Panditji talking or not, he is joyful. Bring the dolak, bring the tabla, and he is joyful. That's a state. Would you not like to experience that again? Do you know that every single one of you would have experienced that in your life at some stage? But we grew up, we became educated, we became civilized, and then therefore it doesn't look appropriate when we can just burst out and laugh, or we can get up and dance, or we can sing, and really doesn't matter what the world thinks about us. You see, we have left the state of joyfulness. We have left the state where joy was part of how we operated. And then now, in our adult stage, or children growing up, what we're searching for, having gone through the routines of academic and academia, we are now trying to figure out how do we go back to that state of experiencing joy and bliss and ecstasy and anand. Isn't that what we're doing? And therefore, I would like to leave with you one simple suggestion this morning. When you are going through life, how many of us have one eye on the task and one eye on the goal? Please show me your hands. One eye on the task and one eye on the goal. Meaning what you want to achieve. What? Vandana said, be careful, Baba, you'll be cookie-eye if you do that. Cockeyed. Many of us, and this is Bhagavad Gita, will have one eye on the task, meaning the things that we have to do, and one eye on the goal. And Bhagwan Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he is telling to Arjuna, and you remember this verse said another way, many of us are waiting to experience joy and waiting to experience happiness when we achieve a particular result. And Krishna is saying, oh Partha, oh my friend, don't worry about the result. Think about what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing. And in that involvement and in that process of being engrossed in what you're doing, automatically the result will come. But when you dwell on the result based on what you're doing, he says you're setting yourself up from not optimizing, not making the best of your time here on earth. And Vandana had it right. Because if you have one eye on the task and one eye on the result, that's a very inefficient process. And what we're reminded to do, it is to don't worry about the result. Of course, it doesn't mean don't have a dream, don't have a goal, don't have aspirations. That's the vision ahead of you. But don't keep your eye on it. Having set your targets, having set your goals and your aspirations, remember to keep both eyes on the task. What does that mean? Have all of your attention focused on the now. I'm using the word task, but I really mean now. Because the human being's happiness and joy, you know what takes it away? You know, one day an American Indian sage was giving a lecture to his people. And he said there are two things that you must not worry about. He says the things that you have control over, don't worry about it, right? Because you have control. And he says the other thing is the things that you do not have control over, don't worry about it. The student says, Panditji, Gurudev, how could I not worry about it? He says, well, if you know that you do not have control, why worry? And therefore, we must understand that this human mind operates typically in all places other than the now. The mind is always agitating about something that has happened in the past. Is there something that is bothering you today? Don't answer. Think about it. Or when there is something that is bothering you, what really bothers you? Is it that something that happened in the now that bothers you? Or something that happened in the past? Even if that thing that happened in the past was 1 hour ago, 1 week ago, 1 year ago, 10 years ago, the things that bother us are experiences of the past. And when you become engrossed and thinking, how could she have said this to me? How could she? Did you see what she posted on Facebook? And like this, it is something in the past. And anything that agitates us, it is something that is or that has happened in the past. Then, the other thing that gets our attention, that takes us away from the now, it is that which is called the future. And therefore, many of us have anxiety attacks about the future. The uncertainty of the future grasps our attention. Someone was telling me recently, telling the teacher really, that I do so very well during the coursework. I do exams during the course, I write past papers, and I do well. But whenever I sit for examinations, oh miss, I just can't seem to keep it together. You know what happens when a child responds to a situation like that? It is because the child is experiencing an anxiety attack about something in the future. Park the child. What about you as adults? The things that disturb you, every single one of us, we fall within one of those two categories. We're dwelling about something in the dead past, or we're experiencing some anxiety attack about a future that has not yet happened. And in doing so, we lose the opportunity, we lose the beauty of experiencing life in its fullness. So before I give you the technique of how to start bringing your attention back to the now, I want to remind you of how our ancestors, and even today in India, how they catch monkeys. Tulsi Baba in Ramcharitramanas, Uttarakhand, he speaks this same analogy. Do you know how they catch monkeys in India? They don't shoot them, they want them alive. They put a bottle, nice bottle, with nuts in it. But the top of the bottle, the neck of the bottle, is not wide. It is wide enough for the monkey's hand to go inside the bottle. So what they do is they bury the bottle in the ground, secure it so it can't be pulled out. Make it visible so the monkey can see the nuts inside of the bottle. When the monkey looks in there, sees the nuts, jai ho, jackpot, hand goes inside the bottle, grasps a handful of nuts, and guess what? When the fist is made holding the nuts, it cannot come out. And that's how they catch monkeys. Don't go and catch monkeys in Trinidad now, okay? That's how they catch monkeys in Bharat, India. And the analogy is, you and I are just like that. We get caught in life because we are holding on to something. That something typically is the dead past. We can't undo it. And because we are holding on, we get trapped in the process. And in that entrapment, we cheat ourselves of the experience that is called joy. How do you get out? If the monkey only knew better, all he had to do is let it go. So my suggestion to you this morning is to let it go. But how do you do that when something goes amiss at work, when somebody gets you angry within your social circle, when something happens within the family and you get agitated? Somebody was saying recently, go and take a time out and stand in the corner. Huh? Parents do that today? As part of discipline, go stand in the corner. Well, as adults, here is a very simple yogic practice that I would like to leave you with when you find that you are not experiencing joy and you're not experiencing bliss. And the typical litmus to that is you're angry, you're hurt, you're disappointed. Even when you're overly ecstatic and joyful, it is a sign that possibly you are not fully in the now. And therefore, if there is something that is disturbing you, if there is something that is hurting you, if there is something that is making you unbalanced, here is your suggestion to bring your attention back to the now. And that suggestion is this. Take a deep breath and pay attention to your lungs being inflated. And at the same time, keep observing your lungs as it deflates, as they deflate rather, and lets the air out. That is one. You know what the second thing is to do? Take another deep breath and then look at your lungs inflate. Then allow the air to come out and your lungs be deflated. What is the third thing to do? Take a deep breath. Look at your lungs. Pay attention to your lungs being inflated. Exhale and consciously allow that air, the volume of air within your lungs, to deflate and let it out. It sounds very simplistic, but I guarantee you this. If there is something that is agitating you, something that is disturbing you, something that has made you very angry as adults and children, this is how you take a time out. Literally, take that conscious breath in, exhale, and watch that breath leaves the body. I guarantee you it. According to the yogic system, you will find your attention and your awareness will come to the now. If there is any of you who have problems sleeping, I am seeing some laughter as well. If you have problems sleeping, Guess what? Don't count sheep. Count breaths. Just pay attention to your breathing pattern. Inhale and exhale. And you will see how quickly you will fall asleep. That is just a simple secret as I introduce you to the concept of joy. Joy is not on a Sunday morning. Joy is not only when you do something that you like and you experience that aha moment. Joy can and should be with you in every conscious moment of your life. And to do that, bring your attention and bring your awareness to the now. Prem se bolo Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. Are Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena.
Hare Ram, Radha Govinda. Hare Ram, Radha Govinda. Hare Krishna, Sita Govinda.
Hare Krishna, Sita Govinda.
Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna,
Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Bolo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nandena.
Yadukula Bhushan Rajiv Nayana.
Yadukula Bhushan Rajiv Nayana.
Yadukula Bhushan Rajiv Nayana.
Yadukula Bhushan Rajiv Nayana.
Deena Bandhu Rajiv Nayana.
Deena Bandhu Rajiv Nayana.
He Deena Bandhu Rajiv Nayana.
Deena Bandhu Rajiv Nayana.
Hey Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nandena.
Gopi Pala Gopal Pala.
Gopi Bala Gopala Bala.
Gopi Pala Gopal Pala.
Gopi Bala Gopala Bala.
He Murli Vairi Sanchari.
He Murveri He Sanchari.
He Murli Vairi Sanchari.
He Murveri He Sanchari.
Hey Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nandena.
Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandena Nanda Nandena He Nandena.
He Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Nanda Nandena He Nandena.
Nanda Nandena He Nande Nandena.
Nanda Nandena He Nandena.
Hey Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Bolo Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna.
Prem se bolo Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki.
मानस बदले गुरु चरणम दूसर भव सागर
My